yet, so don't want to celebrate too early now. Over onto the blue side will be Jinair Greenwings. Spear flipping over onto the red will be Kiana and Lucian taken away again. And this time Tom Kench will be banned.
Yeah. Tom being banned. That's, yeah, he was definitely the problem last game. Yeah, that's my conclusion to that. So Kiana being banned, though, again. Jinair now going to be on blue side, which actually should prove to be more problematic with how the drafts were actually unfolding. Interestingly enough, Jinair, like I said before, they found themselves in a winning spot coming out of the draft, but then couldn't do anything with it. This time, they're likely having to go into everything blind. LeBlanc now getting banned away. We'll see if Syndra actually makes it through.
He is left up at the moment. Self-ban on the Akali from Spear Gaming. Don't want to let that get through. And then a Twisted Fate will be banned away. Got some interesting direct bans coming in. You know, completely directed at individual players on the side of Jinair, and that will allow the Syndra to be picked up.
And yeah, Sandra going to be locked in their first pick. And she has the option to be flexed. In theory, all 5 roles. In Korea, probably only mid lane. But Spear Gaming now, they're going to respond by hovering Misfortune.
Well, it would be unsurprising to take this, and then with the second pick, could very well go for the list as you're talking about. But
and now Elise.
Do a couple different options. We've seen some very strong Elise play in a few of the series so far, the KeSPA Cup, and you can see he's trying to make up their mind between that and the Gragas. We'll settle on the Elise, so going for that burst damage as opposed to that frontliner more so with the Gragas, it seems.
The Elise being picked up by Spear this early on, too, without showing the mid or the top lane, means that Spear could R3 the support. R3 meaning red 3, third pick on red side. And then they could just look to take their top and mid laner on 4-5. But Jinair now responding with Olaf. This is my worst nightmare. I don't know if I'm going to make it through the entire series here, Achilleos. Well, no, I came back twice for you. One.
Hang in there if you can.
All right,
but
well.
If not, then, you know, makes sense. LS, a.k.a. leaves stream. But Olaf is locked in for Umti. Looks like we might just do the support. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and do so. So, potentially opening up a lot of focused bans in the ADC realm for Spear Gaming. Try to disable light as much as possible. But it seems like it's just going to be more of the top lane order as the Renekton will be taken away.
Yeah, and Aurelia coming in as a response to the Syndra. Also has the ability to chain stuff pretty well with the Elise. Scales pretty well against all the champions right now that Jinair currently has picked. And so now, Renekton being banned away, like you just mentioned, Jinair have to decide on what they want to do. I would imagine support bans. They picked Thresh and then they just banned Leona because MF Leona in a vacuum is pretty good. But there's this really cool thing called Flay on Thresh that nullifies her in the laning phase. So there's no reason to really account for the mid and late transitions from the support when you're picking the Thresh and the Olaf because you're not intending to go mid and late as is. So it's really an interesting thing here. I'm glad I'm here today with you, Achilleos, for this.
Me too, LS. Me too. Well, Varus will be taken away, so at least one focus ADC ban coming through. Get rid of that long-range poke, so now we have to see where exactly Light's going to go, and then a Nautilus ban at the end.
Nautilus being banned away does mean that Blitzcrank, I suppose, is still an option right now, though there is a pike hover.
So, playing around with it, but yeah, once they realize Blitzcrank's in, so they just go ahead and lock that one down. We've seen that one pretty consistently banned, so
yeah,
kind of snuck its way through this draft. Didn't actually take note of it not being banned, but Spear Gaming certainly did. So now have that bot lane settled to see what Jinair wants to do with the rest of this draft. Could impact exactly where that Aurelia is going to be headed.
Oh. Atrox right now being and he is locked in. So, I mean, the Jinair team composition, they're definitely looking like this airplane doesn't look like it's getting off the ground, I'll tell you that much. They have the Olaf and the Aatrox. Both of these champions are going to be extremely dead weight in the mid to late game transition. And with what they've shown, and again, another off-theme pick. We saw this yesterday, where you take the Jinx, and I feel like there's a lot of terms that sometimes get thrown in where people will say like, oh, well, these picks are there to bridge it for the Jinx or something. Let me translate that for you, Achilles. It means that the comp doesn't make sense. It's exactly what that word means. So they're off theme with each other. They're taking the Jinx as if it's somehow going to be meaningful for the late game, but they take the Aatrox blind, and now they take him blind. Aurelia already beat him, and so that means that Spear Gaming would have had the option to send Aurelia top and then choose another champion into Syndra. So nothing's making sense to me right now. They have the Jinx in bot lane for late game insurance. It's not even insurance when she's playing without two teammates.
Well, if I do know one thing about Jin Air, it's that sometimes things just go the opposite direction. So in game one, having a, as you say, superior draft, weren't able to find those advantages, weren't able to get the victory. Now, coming in with a bit of a questionable draft, wouldn't shock me at all to see them take this game at number 2. But let's go ahead and find out as we get ready to jump onto the Rift and see how they are going to be faring. But Spear Gaming, with the momentum on their side, the wind in their sails, might just be able to lock down a 2-0 here at the KeSPA Cup and advance forward. We'll see if they can pull that off as we go ahead and jump on to Summoner's Rift. All right, and here they go, charging forward. You do have a Blitzcrank in the bot lane.
Right.
So that might mean some more
The Blitzcrank
skirmishing.
referee suit is on right now.
Yeah, it's classic
Yeah.
skill.
He's probably seeing some violations going on here out of the draft. So here to make a judgment real quick, but maybe we can see some action, maybe a burned flash if Blitzcrank can actually land a hook. Misfortune strutting her stuff over here. We got Kennen up here in top lane. Kennen did receive an indirect buff via the changes to preseason. Still think he's a bad champion, but it is important to note that he was indirectly buffed with the change to Conqueror.
Asper's still going to be sticking around in the mid lane. You can see Jaguar, so I'll just go ahead and start rotating back. So just maybe waiting for Yaharong to get into a comfortable spot, but they'll give up on the attempted hook here at the beginning. We'll not be seeing any kills or flashes burned at the start, it would seem. But I mean, ideally, with this Blitzcrank down in the bottom lane, it means that we could hopefully get a bit more skirmishing between that and the Thresh. So perhaps we will see a bit more fighting in the lane that can lead to some early kills for either side. But that's also me just kind of spitballing and keeping my fingers crossed.
Well, we'll see how everything transpires here. Just going to be starting on his blue buff. Probably just going to go for a full clear. There's not much he can do with this current lane setup. So expected to see him hit the 24 CS and try to get the bottom side Scuttle Crab, but Winter on the Elise doing red buff into Golems. We'll see what kind of full-on clear he ends up doing. Yaharong actually utilizing this time to come up, place a ward down at that specific spot to see if Elise would ever try to do red Golems and then wrap it into mid before transitioning to blue. So that ward obviously covers it. I like Winter's response, not even messing with where the ward could maybe be placed. And instead, just going to actually walk all the way around. Now, if Yaharong's really paying attention, that Spellcaster minion that Elise bumped into did have its pathing interrupted ever so slightly. So if Yaharong's really paying attention, they know that's what Elise just did. Not quite sure, but interesting note to bring up.
Well, already though. There's a little bit of fighting coming through here in the mid lane, but really if we get bullied out a little bit, we'll just be taking a couple chugs of the potion so that they can stay here. They just keep having some farming down into the bot. Like, going to be stretching a very slight little lead here at the moment.
And yeah, Olaf has completed the 24 CS. He's actually not going to get the bottom crab because Aurelia has the priority in mid lane. Bot lane is relatively even on priority, so Olaf elects to just recall, and now he's going to barrel down, or barrel up, I should say, to the top crab, as also his respawn camps are coming back up, the Gromp and the Wolves.
Pretty telegraphed attempt at a gank there. Asper just, when you have a Blitzcrank and they just kind of start walking at you, you very much know what is about to happen. So not really giving an opportunity for Winter to even get close to the lane.
Now, this is a pretty unfortunate spot here for Yaharong. He has the teleport on the Syndra, and yet he was beat in early lane manipulation by the Aurelia. So the Aurelia gets back to the lane. I think only missed about 1 or 2 melee minions. And now...
Oh, TP in behind. Undertow will connect, looking for the stun, but Scout of the Week not going to be able to connect as the dash comes through. So yeah, Chester just going to be okay. Doesn't have to use the flash. And Yaharong just has a slightly longer walk back directly into his lane. So overall, not a bad attempt. Just doesn't lead to much of anything.
Well, 30 seconds now until the Infernal Dragon. But Olaf, in doing this, he's slowed down a little bit. He is going to get that Scuttle Crab, but Elise really isn't that far behind him, all things considered. Also, Red Smite on the Elise. She will scale better than the Olaf, just off of that factor too, but just in general because it is Olaf.
Push in here onto the tower. Roam down coming through from...
Yeah, no mana though.
Yeah, no, we'll just go ahead and push back over to the mid. So not going to be able to find an entry into that bot lane for a gank in time.
And now at this point, MF coming back to lane, triple Doran's Blade and Fairy Charm, and this is lining up with Elise's pathing. So Asper on that Blitzcrank, he didn't have to recall. You can actually just see that he's sitting in the brush. I actually would have preferred if he just tried to apply any sort of Fog of War pressure to any of the players, basically, on the side of Jin-Air, whether it be the Syndra or just making the Jinx be a little bit more respectful. Now, though, he's going to move out and threaten to freeze the bot lane. That's why the question marks are the way that they are. And now this is causing Light to stick around, which means this has opened up Dragon timing because Light's locked in lane with less combat stats, 1 Doran's Blade, no teleport available on him. And this is definitely a feels bad man spot. Olaf and Elise running into each other. Aurelia gets priority in mid lane. This is a really good opportunity to take the dragon. Kennen could just crash the wave and start running down through mid, would conserve his teleport. These are things that require team coordination, Achilleos. I almost called you Aphelios, but he's banned. You're not banned.
Yeah, he's banned globally.
Yeah.
As is Diana.
Because they knew that you were going to be here. It would get real confusing.
Yeah, that's
actually the reason.
I'm really glad that he's not, because I don't have my I don't have the mental capacity to be able to read those patch notes and understand them. But I can understand press Q and win. That one I can comprehend that pretty easily. Infernal Drake though started up and likely going to be going over, barring a miracle steal, to the side of Spear Gaming. That will be despite the pull in here onto He'll get dragged back with that Dark Passage, sliver of HP remaining. The Ignite taking him lower and lower, but he's not going to be able to get taken down. But Light was left out to dry, so will get picked off. Flash available, likely got stunned up, I believe, with the slicing mails from there from Destroy, so couldn't get out of it in time, and does give up first blood. So there you have it, pre-7 minutes this time, LS.
Yeah.
We improved.
And now Mountain Dragon's going to be the one that's coming up next. And honestly, none of these champions on Jin-Air build any sort of resistances. So Mountain Dragon is definitely something that you could forego if you are Spear. And then again, try to do the amplified soul tactic on dragons. Or, you know what, you could just get all the early dragons, get the soul, and then win the game, sort of like in game number 1.
Yeah.
That would definitely be the alternative. But as the game stands right now, 1,000 gold lead roughly for Spear. They have better scaling. Everything is just going well. It's really looking bad for Jin-Air.
Yeah, very rough start for them. Already going to be on the back foot. So we'll see what we end up getting, whether it's going to be Ocean or Cloud again for the final Drakes to be coming through. And whether or not we'll actually get an Elder this time. But For now, Spear just going to be taking a step back. They know that they're comfortable in this lead and just want to win it incrementally. Goal difference isn't that huge. Nice stun through, but Asper on the far side of the minions couldn't get a clear line to throw that hook out and try to pull in Yaharong, so it doesn't miss out on that opportunity. In the meantime, you can see has since started up the Rift Herald right in front of the Scuttle Crab, so it was perfectly in vision. And Winter is hovering nearby, just getting rid of a couple of wards. Does he want to try to walk up? The smite is up for both of these guys. Level advantage here for however. Hook going to be coming through, doesn't find the hit. Lower and lower the jump in and the steal away. Winter manages to find the Rift Herald and will go ahead, walk over, pick up that relic. And yeah, there you have it. Mr. LS was muted for the last little bit as he was going on a tirade, so apologies.
Did I go through your mic?
Maybe a little bit, but I just noticed that I wasn't hearing you in my in-ear piece. And then as I glanced over, I noticed that the button was pressed down when it should in fact be pressed up. But it's okay, guys. It's there wasn't much importance to talk about.
Okay. All right, well.
I was just letting you go on your rant, and then I realized that the mic just wasn't working. Meanwhile, full time going to be coming through. Asper going to have to be left here to die. No way to get back in there. So Jin do manage to put a kill on the board. So nice little move for them with that gang coming down bot. Now the wraparound from behind. Maybe looking to get in underneath the tower. The box coming in advance of the hook connecting to anything. So a bit overzealous and overconfident from Senin leads to nothing but a burnt cooldown and less pressure on the tower. So they'll just go ahead and let the rest of that minion wave push in, and Jaguar can go ahead and scoop up the CS.
Yeah. And, I mean, it does put Jin on the board. We'll take a look at how it happened one more time. Asper just so excited to go in there with that flash Q.
Umti was leaving.
Yeah.
He was dipping out, and then he's like, oh, cool. We'll just kill him.
The thing about this kind of a commitment play is that Mountain Dragon's spawning in a little bit over a minute, and you're wanting to flash to kill the AD Scary just for 300 gold, and it's really just not that valuable.
Yeah.
It would be a lot better to conserve your flash for something that's a lot more crucial and impactful for the game overall. So definitely a little bit bizarre. Ended up losing not only his flash, but also his stopwatch during that trade.
Well, here comes the Rift Herald in the mid lane. This one looking a lot better than the Rift Herald that we had in mid lane last game. Yeah. The charge will actually do a significant amount of damage. Hook not going to hit anything there for Asper. Makes it to the other side of the choppers in time to stay safe, but they get the drag in onto Winter, taking him lower. Has to go up with that repel. Still holds onto the flash as well, so we'll be okay, but there's a good amount of damage coming out from the members of Jin on to Spear right as that Mountain Drake does come up. So maybe a bit of a window up opportunity. You can see Winter, though, going over to the side will be burning both the W and that Smite so that he can get some healing and actually contest this Drake. But now Smite going to be down for a little bit, but the charge will come back up in time.
And Jin now, they're going to look to set their eyes on this mountain. Oh!
They're looking for Winter.
Winter is dead, I think.
Rough spot, flash away. That's going to be Unleashed Power coming through, and he will go down. Slicing Maelstrom from Destroy, however, right on top of them, and that sets up a double kill coming through from Jaguar. A fantastic start for Jin completely spun around on its head, a 3-for-1. They lose the jungler, but no one else is there from Jin to even try and take this dragon, so Spear can just be patient, wait for Winter to come back up, and then add that Mountain Drake to their battle chest.
Yeah, we're going to have to see what happens here. So Elise goes up in the air and then flashes away, but then both players actually flash out Elise, which was really surprising because the Dragon was 1 at that point, and killing Elise is only 300 gold, so it's not worth that heavy of an investment. Kennen able to follow up slightly thereafter with the Slicing Maelstrom, gets the double kill as well. And Jin Air, they find themselves in a really, really bad spot. And interestingly, Spear elected not to capture the Mountain Drake, even though they had the Blitzcrank and the MF. So I really am wondering if it truly is intentional.
It's kind of starting to look that way. I mean, they have to know though, at this point it's, you know, obviously they know it's not going to be the Infernal. But we'll see what they're going to be playing for. And it's going to be the Ocean again.
Well, Ocean Dragon. Now, if Spear can get Dragon number 3, 4, and 5, would be fantastic, just like in game number 1. It would basically, it would delete all chance that Syndra, Olaf, and Aatrox can even play the game. And so it would truly come down to the Jinx show. But MF, so strong right now.
Yeah, 3-0-1 with the bounty. So Essence Reaver completed alongside the 2 Dorans. You can see, you tell Umti he really wants to clear out that control ward, but the threat of Asper getting that hook through is just too much to deal with, so we'll have to peel back.
And right now, Spear, I'm just biding their time. 4 minutes until the next Ocean Dragon. There's no real reason to have any sort of a fight. And again, I love talking about these little things because I feel like the public really overestimates certain dragons. Even the Infernal, it's not really doing all that much right now, but it is noticeable more so than the Mountain Drake. When you go champion by champion and ask yourselves, like, well, what is that amplification really giving in terms of MR and armor stats? And honestly, it's not that much, but we got a TP coming.
Yep, going in for the play. That'll be the Dark Passage. The Slicing Maelstrom, however, ready to lock them up. Light going lower and lower. Escapes back underneath the tower, but it will be then falling. With the minion wave pushing forward, and 4 members of Spear Gaming poised and ready to claim the tower. 15 minutes here as the first one of the game will go down in the bot lane. So now going to be tacking on that extra bit of gold to try and stretch what was a moderate lead into a significantly better one here for Spear.
Meanwhile, mid lane, Syndra not really able to achieve much, even though Aatrox is getting a lot of chip damage on that top tier 1. Doesn't really mean anything. Turret plates are already gone. And all that this means is that they're going to open up the map, which isn't really... I mean, you could argue that it's even more favorable for Spear if that ends up happening. As we take a look at the replay, Slicing Maelstrom locking up both of the members here. Bullet time, able to bring down Thresh.
Could have gotten that a little bit sooner in the bullet time. Likely would have seen Light falling as well. But either way, still a good play by Spear. Good to see them being proactive and using those teleports. Because when you have that cannon up top, you want to be able to bring them in when that Slicing Maelstrom is available. So overall, a good call from Spear Gaming. Rift Herald getting started up by Jin Air. See if they can take this one down. As we're also not that far away from that Baron, of course. Jumping forward, looking for the stun. Not going to connect on the light. Still get a little bit of damage, but now going to be slowed up. Good damage coming out from the Jinx, and that will, in fact, be a kill over to Jin Air. Light getting excited, but taking a ton of damage. Is going to have to go ahead and peel back. But a good pick off here for Jin Air, prolonging the game and getting rid of those minions as well. So Spear can't just push in and try and take down this tier 1 turret yet. So still, we'll have to get through the minion waves. As we do see Sinan coming around the backhand side. But yeah, it's just too much. Winter with good pathing will shove them back, and that will be another tower now falling for Spear.
Yeah, and the mid tier 1 and the bottom tier 1 turrets for Spear are so healthy that it's pretty hard to imagine that they would be going down anytime soon. As we take a look at this replay, and you can see what Chasey want. If he ends up landing the stun onto Light, he can do a massive amount of damage, but even still, Thresh is in such close proximity that it would just be able to be flayed away into chaining the Lantern. So, Chasey getting a little bit overzealous there in mid lane. Gets punished for it, but no Rift Herald capture for Jin Air, which means that 1 minute until the Ocean Dragon. And if Spear ends up getting this, they're going to be one step closer to getting that Ocean Soul, which is so powerful against them. But likewise, if Jin Air can get it, and try to get the Elder Dragon to come online. It is going to help out massively because the Aatrox and the Olaf are really almost at their breaking point before everything just starts going downhill for them.
Yep, it's going to be shifting around here. Trying to get as much presence on that bottom side of the map as they possibly can. As it will just be left to his own devices here underneath of the tower. Fairly safe from any kind of dive, but the turret's still taking a pretty decent amount of damage from that cannon and its range. So it seems like Ocean Drake going to be very nicely poised for the side of Spirit Gaming to snatch that one up. They even have the Scuttle Crab and the wards on either side of the wall to go ahead and ensure this one. So it will be very easy for them to go ahead and pick up their second here.
They pick that up for themselves, and now 5 minutes until the next one, which will mean that Baron will be up and possible as well. As Syndra is pushing into the top tier too, but that doesn't really achieve all that much. There was even some pings that went down onto the turret as if it would have signified something of importance, but realistically, this whole game now is just going to be about Jinx. You can even see the way that Olaf is itemizing. He has a Spectre's Cowl right now, which Mountain Dragon will help that out a little bit in terms of item efficiency, but he's not going to do any damage. He's going to legitimately do none. He's going to press R, and then he's going to turn around after losing 60% of his HP.
Yeah.
And maybe he'll throw an axe or two. So it's truly a magnificent champion.
I mean, seeing how much this is going to have to rely on the Jinx. I mean, Light is, at least starting to clear out minion waves rather quickly, but it just makes you think back to that kill in the mid lane on Chassis and how it kind of just sucks that they didn't give that over to the Jinx. And instead, Tana took it for himself. Would have been pretty nice to get that extra little bit of gold over onto that Jinx at the moment, but we'll see if they can still somehow rein this one back in.
They're channeling the Nayram briefly.
Yeah.
But not going to actually follow through with it. As Olaf goes over, he gets the Scuttle Crab on the right-hand side. Nothing is really going on, and it's really starting to feel like 2 weeks is a long time until Star Wars comes out. That's all I'm trying to say right now. Your fan in attendance not looking too amused.
If you just don't think about Star Wars or anticipate it, then you won't. The time will just fly by, and then it'll be there.
And then I'll forget, and then it'll do so poorly in Korean theaters it gets kicked out in less than a week. That actually happened in the movie Glass. You ever seen that?
Yeah, I did see that movie.
It lasted less than a week.
I could see why. I don't know how much Unbreakable was, how big of a release that was in Korea, if it was released here at all. So they were
Split
kind of
was
missing.
really good.
I just mean, like, Unbreakable, if it wasn't shown here, they're missing a third of the cast.
Yeah.
So I could understand why Glass might not be the most popular film for them. But Split was pretty decent, yeah.
Korean movie theaters have actually really been hurting the last 3 months or so. Ever since Joker ended up leaving theater. Well, actually, Joker stayed up until recently. It was performing so well, but there's really been no new releases in Korea anyway.
Knives Out, I think, is probably
I mean,
the
there's
most recent
Cats. You ever see Cats?
one. We don't talk about Cats.
We don't talk. We're watching it right now. What do you mean?
No interest in that. But yeah, that was a mistake, is all I'll say. Whoever said, "Hey, Andrew Lloyd Webber,
Cats
we're going to adapt your musical that you adapted off of a series of plays into a movie with Idris Elba and James Corden and some other people. Whoever made that decision should retire."
Well, Cats is the first movie to ever be patched.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yeah, they're updating it in theater.
In theater, it's getting updated.
Well,
It's actually magnificent.
If it works out anything like the people who worked on Sonic the Hedgehog, then they'll all be let go after this.
That's actually
Which is
so
very
sad.
unfortunate.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I make that unfortunate joke, but it's actually a damn shame that happened to those people.
Yeah. Well,
Go see Knives Out, though. If you haven't seen that, it's fantastic.
all right.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Anything on Netflix?
Not really.
Oh, You came out today. Season 2. Maybe you don't watch that. It's about a psychopath killer that falls in love with people and then It's really weird, but it's really good. Yeah.
I haven't watched. I have to get back into Netflix. I was watching HBO's Watchmen, which I quite enjoyed. So I haven't had too much time for Netflix shows. But now that Watchmen is over, maybe I can make some room in my playlist. Asper looking to fish for a hook, but neither he nor Senin has been able to get into a position to let that happen. Destroy going on with a very deep flank. Ward coming down around the side, so obviously Tana now knows that there is somebody on that side of the map, so he just has to go ahead and peel out of there. He joins with the rest of the team. Oh, man!
Syndra!
Yeah, Scout of the Week with the Unleashed Power, and that is just going to be Winter disappearing as the Dragon gets ready to spawn in 8 seconds. A very nice pick for Jin Air. And suddenly, you have to start thinking, will they be finding a way back into this game?
Well, certainly starting to get the wheel in motion to do so. I mean, that was a really nice pickoff right there by Yaharong. Syndra's a pretty nice champion. Managed to just completely one-shot that Elisa. I'm pretty sure that Winter's even surprised. Just watch how this happens. W misses, and then QE and R. Very impressive.
Yep, just dead.
Right there, perfect.
Completely and utterly erased from existence there, so very good pickup does lead to that Ocean Drake. So now an Ocean Drake apiece. Both of these teams going to be 2 away from the Dragon Soul, so we'll be further prolonging this game here as we approach the 25-minute mark. 4-5, and I mean, overall, this has just been very close. We haven't had that much of a gold lead. I think the largest one that we had was maybe about 2,000 when the first tower went down. So you're looking at about 1.3, 1.4 thousand gold. So very close margins.
Yeah.
And if Jin Air especially could just kill Jaguar once, cash in that major bounty that he has on his head right now, that would very much help them slingshot back into this game. Imagine if Light got that bounty claim.
Yeah, if Jinx can be the one that gets a hold of it, it's obviously going to be super beneficial for Jin Air inside of this game. But now the game did just get massively slowed down, by the way, though, as both parties are going to have to get 2 more dragons apiece in order to spawn the Elder. So we're in for the long haul.
I took notice. But it's all right. That's what you get. That's what you should be expecting when you come into a Jin Air series. Push forward, looking for the hook. Just doesn't quite have the range there, so Asper not going to be able to land it. I'm not going to lie. I think we can probably count on one hand how many hooks Asper has connected with.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like it's been that many.
And some of the ones that he even wanted to go for weren't that ideal.
Yeah.
So I'm going to need the ref to actually count himself out here. As he has Shirelias, by the way, on Blitzcrank as his second item of choice. I actually don't mind that.
It's okay. He wants to go fast.
Yeah, he's going to go quick. Nice ward place down. 2.5 minutes until the next Ocean Dragon. And Baron, I mean, it has to be on everyone's mind right now, so definitely have to watch out for picks.
Look how fast he's going! To be fair to him, he landed the hook.
He did land it on the
Ragnarocking.
The immovable object, yeah. It was really good.
It just, when he lands it when it literally doesn't matter. Top tier 2 tower taking actually a lot of damage from those minions just consistently being pushed in. That one is about ready to go, which would give a tie-up on the turret score here for Jin Air. We'll already find it, though, by taking down that mid-tier 1. Pushing forward. Here comes Kennen. Everybody's slicing Maelstrom in on top of 4. They will jump at the opportunity to do the rest of the members of Spear Gaming.
Oh, that's Baron.
Up the kills. The hook
God,
not quite going to connect Asper. Manages to find the minion instead. But as you say, that is going to be the Baron. As they go ahead and move over, clear out the vision, and start this one up. 3 members gone. Light doesn't even have the global ultimate to try to go for the Hail Mary steal. Spear Gaming, just like that, right back in control.
And now they're going to find the next Ocean Dragon for sure, as this Baron buff is going to persist through it. And it's really hard to imagine how Jin Air is going to find a way back into this game because all of the tier 2 turrets are still alive, which means that is a lot of guaranteed accessible gold for this Baron buff to give over to Spear. And Spear are the ones that are actually scaling better at this point in the game. Aurelia, I believe she just picked up a Guardian Angel, which now opens up dive potential. We take a look at Superman Kennen right there. This is if Superman and Flash had a child. It's exactly what that would have just looked like right there.
Fair enough.
As the Jin Air team composition, it did what it did best, trying to run away. And Jinx could not do anything at this point.
Unfortunately, they all ran away while stacked up on top of each other, so made for a Kennen's best dream there, especially with the flash up. So closes that gap and rips them to pieces. So now it'll just be a push here with the Baron-empowered minions down to the bot lane to try to finish off this tier 2 tower. The rest of Jin Air grouped up into the mid lane. They managed to find the stun here into the river. Going to be going golden, but Jaguar will not be able to make it out of there. Holds on to the flash at the very least, but will fall down. It's going to be a startup now onto the Ocean Drake for the side of Jin Air, it would seem, as the Undertow starts coming out. Pulling it away, but
just to the Ocean Drake. Why are you prioritizing the tier 2 mid turret over the Ocean Dragon that threatens Soul?
It seems to be
Break it down for me, Achilles. I'm having a little bit of difficulty wrapping my head around this.
I would guess that this is just going to be a bit of miscommunication from the side of Jin Air.
I had hazelnut earlier, right? And normally my symptoms are my throat closes up, I get hives, I get runny eyes and stuff, but now I'm starting to think I'm hallucinating.
You're not. It's just some indecisiveness. They
Now
still
they're
will
gonna
be
get
able to scoop up the Ocean Drake. The push up into the mid lane doesn't really net them anything at all. So.
No, but they're losing prio now when they could have done the invert to this. They could have gotten the Dragon first and then established the pushing lanes so that the Baron buff wouldn't have had any effectiveness. But instead, because of the order in which they did it, they actually handed Spear more opportunity to manipulate the lanes to be favorable to them. Jaguar here in the replay ends up getting killed.
Well, either way, just going to be a bit of a misstep there from Jin Air, but they are now in pole position to get that Dragon Soul in another 4.5 minutes once that Ocean Dragon does respawn, potentially final one here of this game before we start seeing the Elder coming through. Baron buff just going to be expiring now in 15 seconds. So
Yeah.
Losing out on that pressure are Spear. They still do have a bit of a gold lead, but again, it's just thin margins overall in game number 2 here so far. Haven't really seen that big explosive gold lead come through for either side.
Yeah, and I mean, Atrox almost has the Death Stance for his third item. Looks like Olaf's going to be going Locket of the Iron Solari as Syndra is progressing towards the Rabadon's Death Cap. But the itemization on the side of Spear Gaming is really scary. Remember also, their damage is being amplified ever so slightly by the Infernal. And again, yes, Jin Air has the Mountain Dragon, but take a look at all their champions. They don't really have resistances that are being massively amplified. So they do have the double Ocean Drake, but that's missing health out of combat. I do believe is what it has been changed to, so still a pretty scary situation. Kennen about to have flash up again, and if Jin Air just keep mindlessly shoving mid, very akin to an ARAM.
Destroy is very far behind them at the moment, looking for that opportunity to pinch in. He's not sure where the vision is at, though, for them, and if he's been spotted. Either way, we'll notice that Jin Air is scattering.
And you can see that they're cognizant that, yes, Kennen must be looking for a flank here. They must have a rough idea of where he is. His flash is probably up in about 5 seconds or so, which means that it's time to go.
Slim margins clears that
out.
Oh,
man, this is a flank.
He's spotted by the tower. Going to start charging up that mid lane, it would seem. But no, we'll go ahead and use the Lightning Rush to wrap back around. Doesn't want to get separated from his squad more than he already is. So is now just focusing on exiting because knows that Jin Air can just pull down the lane and collapse on top of him. So smart movement here by Destroy. So it doesn't find the gank that he was looking for, but also doesn't give up an unnecessary death to the side of Jin Air.
And then now, you know, honestly, interestingly enough, it would probably be very wise to just wait the 2 minutes to the next Ocean Dragon, let Aurelia get to the Sterix if she ends up wanting that. And Kennen, I mean, he just picked himself up a Void Staff. MF picks herself up a Crit Cloak. So she's doing all right in the crit department right now.
Yeah, not too bad. Already has that Infinity Edge and every other item.
Yeah, she got 3 crit items and a crit cloak.
So, yeah, gonna be doing a lot. As it does turn out. You can see though, Jinx rockets do chunk.
And 33 minutes right now is the game timer. Baron coming up in 30 seconds, so it's going to be the first point of contention before the Ocean Soul, which means that if Spear gets it, they should also get the Ocean Dragon, which means that we will have a 7-dragon game. That is pretty rare.
Yeah, it's just ticking up and up. I mean, Jin Air, if nothing else, are all about setting records, including the longest competitive game of League of Legends ever played. Let's see what they can get done. MT just throwing a spear directly into the wall, 6 inches in front of his face. Doesn't find any harassment as they start poking forward.
This isn't the best angle for Kennen. I also don't like the fact that Jinx has a Guardian Angel. I understand what she's thinking. In the set. Oh, we got a
Hook
fight.
in onto one. Hook coming through. Does manage to find Winter, but he'll go up into the air with that repel. Now Light going lower and lower. Doesn't pop the GA yet. But still going to be a 1-for-0 trade for Spear with 28 seconds left on that Ocean Drake. Now down to support the engage. Barring a pick-off, a stun rather, from the Syndra. It's very limited for Jin Air.
And right now, you can see Spear. They're just 2-manning this Baron, and this might make Jin Air actually think that they're not on it, but now the Lightning Rush and everything must give it away. So this is going to be Baron going over to Spear Gaming. There's
they got to rush the Ocean. They have to rush the Ocean.
Yeah, they do have to rush to the Ocean, and it does look like Spear going to be slow. Kennen might be able to... No, there's actually not a TP spot, so this is actually a bad trade.
It'd have to be a control ward, but yeah, that will just be the Ocean going over to Jin Air. So they do manage to find the Ocean Soul, but now with the Baron buff pushing down into the mid lane, trying to apply further pressure. Maybe get some pickoffs here. Our Spirit Gaming, they managed to find the tier 2 in mid. Jin Air still is scrambling to get everybody back into the base. Tower getting focused down, going lower and lower. The hook not going to connect. The tower will be finished off, but they can't get in a position to get rid of that inhibitor. Slow comes through onto Winter. He's going to be flashing away as Umti chases forward. Gets the clip onto the undertow here from Asper. Flash up from Tana, trying to get in range. Hasn't had to blow it yet, but they will manage to find one pick as Winter goes lower and lower. Pushes back forward, up with a repel. Drops back down, but has nowhere to go, and it's going to be a double kill for Light, and suddenly this is catastrophic for Spear.
Yeah. I mean, this just looks so bad. They made a fundamentally awful decision by dragging every single member over to the Baron in order to capture it.
I thought they were just going to 2-man.
Yeah, I thought they were fine. Yeah, they would have been completely fine 2-manning it and then leaving the key members that could have slowed down the Ocean Dragon capture in the middle lane, and now instead they're going to find themselves in a losing situation despite having the Baron, and they really, really need to get that Elder Dragon if they're going to want to have a chance to win this game, because Syndra, she's going to recall. She's going to eventually get that Rabadon's death cap. And now with 3 Ocean Dragons and the Soul, it's going to make things really hard for the Kennen and the Aurelia unless the opponents just find themselves with absolutely no response to the engage. As we see here, it's a full-on retreat, but they invest quite a bit. Blitzcrank even flashing for no reason. Elise throws the cocoon a little bit too early, but...
I mean, also just incredibly poor communication or realization from Winter. Going back in to try to get the cocoon, they thought that they could turn it just because there was a bullet time running from the Misfortune, but there wasn't anyone squishy enough standing in it that would have been able to convert that into a kill. That being said, a misplay there for Spear, but still making proactive moves, coming back after those mistakes. They take down another tier 2 tower, utilizing this Baron buff as much as they possibly can, as they only have 35 seconds remaining on that. They have 2 towers down inside the base, but getting those inhibitors, this seems nigh impossible right now for Spear unless they can get some picks. But Jin Air, they know that they just have to stay near the base, protect the inhibitors, don't push out.
And at this point, it is definitely scary for both of these teams still. Elder is really the only thing that we have to wait for. It looks like Syndra's waiting probably really close to Rabadon's death cap. She's just wiggling in the base, and she has it. So that's a massive spike for Syndra.
Yeah.
And honestly, Solari plus Ocean Soul, if they just hold a Phalanx and protect the Jinx,
Yeah.
it's going to be so difficult for Jin Air to actually shred through everything. Kennen, well,
Stun in onto Asper. Ragnarok going to be popped. I did misspeak earlier, actually. It's only just the one tower taken down inside the base. So still more work to be done there by Spear. But this is a very precarious spot to be in. Spear Gaming. And we're going to have Elder and Baron spawning within seconds of each other as well.
wow.
So Jin Air very much going to have the position of forcing Spear around the map.
At this point now, they are moving up bottom lane. They're going to be able to raise that tier 2 turret. And we are approaching these super endgame stages.
This
We're
is only,
okay.
We're not even at 40 minutes. We're not even halfway there yet, LS.
Oh, okay.
We want to break the record. We're going closer to midnight. But we'll see how this game does end up wrapping up. Still with the gold lead here are Spear. Jin Air, you can tell that they're not really sure what they can do, what they can get away with. Just kind of have to keep floating around the map and just be prepped for these objectives spawning in a little over a minute and a half each.
And who do you think is going to win this game here?
Not us.
All right.
We're the losers in this one. I truly don't know who could win this one, though, because it's not beyond either of these teams to throw it at a major objective.
I feel like Jin Air is going to find a way to clump and then still have everyone die. Okay, to the Kennen slicing maelstrom.
Fair point. Very well could happen.
If there's a will, there's a way. You know, actually, before this, I just saw a news article about a plane that ended up crash landing on a beach. So, ocean terrain, you know, it's sort of feel like maybe this is a foreshadowing.
Well, we'll see how this goes. Jin Air just going to be charging straight up into that mid lane. Ideally, they can, you know, if they're gonna crash out, hopefully everybody, you know, makes it out all right, much like happened in the story that you're talking about. So that would be ideal for them.
Between Elder and Baron, Elder is the more valuable Drake right now, because with the Elder Dragon buff, you can laugh at the Baron and just sort of run at them if you have it. So it would be really interesting to see if Jin Air want the Baron instead of the Elder. This is truly a Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events here.
Well, this will be the push down into the bottom side right now, and you can see, yeah, Jin Air.
Oh, I think they're just going to burst.
They're losing
and then
pace.
They're going to fight the Elder.
Okay.
Kennen, natural flank being created.
The Elder started up, but it's not even close to halfway at the moment. Still a long ways to go.
Kennen.
This is a really precarious spot. I would say Spear probably have to get out of there. Destroy's trying to find his way into the back line, finds a shot there onto Senate as the Elder Dragon is still in combat. has made his way into the pit. He's trying to get up on top of Winter, who goes up with the repel. That's for taking a little bit of damage, and is he playing on the side? And that's going to be the slicing maelstrom. Like you said, they all clump up. They were so hungry to get in range of that Elder Dragon that they all step a bit too close to each other, and now they say sayonara. They are gone. Left alive but with nowhere to go. The TP is coming through, and they have done it yet again at a major objective. Jin Air stand too close, and they all go tumbling down.
Killers, they had map hacks. They could see where Kennen was. They had total vision of everything. There was 5 members deciding the movement right there for how they were going to approach the Elder. And like I said to you, if there's a will, there's a way. And Jin Air found themselves the Ocean Beach landing right there. Glad plane's not coming out today.
No, it is not. A sad plane indeed. Here